Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat in 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, on October 31st every year, we are commemorating World Cities Day. World Cities Day bring urban October to an end on 31st October each year and was first celebrated in 2014. As with World Habitat Day, a global conservation observance and a global observance is held in a different city each year, and the day focuses on a specific theme. It aims to raise international awareness of urbanization trends, challenges, and visions for equitable, prosperous, sustainable, and inclusive societies that provide their communities with better living environments and quality of life. So the theme for 2025 is People-Centered Smart Cities. On 31st October 2025, the global observance of World Cities Day will take place in Bogota, Colombia, under the topic of People-Centered Smart Cities. It will showcase how data-driven decision-making technology and AI can be used to improve urban life and recover from current shocks and crises. It will also focus on promoting smart city initiatives centered on people. This year's theme reflects the growing recognition that transformative power of digital technologies is reshaping urban life globally, offering profound opportunities to enhance how cities and human settlements are designed, planned, and managed and governed in an era marked by both urban and digital transitions. Cities are increasingly adopting digital technology solutions and data to deliver better services for residents and address critical urban challenges and opportunities. The aim of this year's theme is to promote people-centered smart cities and demonstrate how crucial it is for smart cities to prioritize human needs, inclusivity, and accessibility. Second, the observance will provide a platform for cities to exchange best practices, experiences, and strategies in implementing people-centered smart city initiatives globally, especially in addressing key challenges such as global housing crisis. Lastly, by increasing global awareness about the role of technology and innovation in advancing improved access to adequate housing and achieving urban development. The goal is to foster and encourage international cooperation and collaboration among all societal sectors on people-centered smart cities. The UN Habitat launched the 2024 edition of the World Cities Report at the World Urban Forum, WEF12, which is a biannual publication, World Cities Report 2024, focusing on the urgent intersection of climate action and rapid urbanization. The biannual publication serves as a global reference and sustainable urban knowledge, revealing critical findings with a vast gap of $4.5 to 5.4 trillion needed annually for resilient infrastructure. The report also highlights the risks of green gentrification that can displace vulnerable communities. It emphasizes the importance of community led strategies to guide cities towards sustainable futures. When we look at the background of this day, the United Nations General Assembly designated 31st October as World Cities Day by its resolution 68 by 239. The day is expected to greatly promote the international community's interest in global urbanization, push forward cooperation among countries in meeting opportunities, addressing challenges of urbanization, and contributing to sustainable urban development around the world. Urbanization provides the potential for new forms of social inclusion, including greater equality, access to services, and new opportunities and engagement of mobilization that reflects the diversity of cities, countries, and the globe. Yet too often, this is not the shape of urban development. Inequality and exclusion abound often at rates greater than the national average at the expense of suitable development that delivers for all. Urban October was launched by UN Habitat in 2014 to emphasize the world's urban challenges and engage the international community towards the new urban agenda. Sustainable Development Goal 11 level, which formulates the ambition to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, underlying the resilience of UN Habitat's mission. Inequalities in cities have grown since 1980. The world's largest cities are also often the most unequal, and this year's theme is embraced by the action and implementation of the new urban agenda, which is putting the topic inclusive cities as one of the main pillars for urban shift. In October 2016, the Habitat 3 conference held in Quito adopted a new framework which will set world on course towards sustainable urban development by rethinking how cities are planned, managed, and inhabited. The new urban agenda will set the price on how to deal with the challenges of urbanization the next 2 decades and is seen as an extension of 2030 agenda for sustainable development agreed on by the 193 member states of the UN in September 2015. So cities should be encouraged to innovate and experiment and also to learn from one another in order to hasten this transition, for instance, through twin town initiatives or city networks. Moreover, report says that it will be necessary to replace a competitive cities governance approach to urban economies with a well-grounded cities approach that serves interest of all citizens. Until 2009, more people lived in rural than in urban areas. Today, around 55% of the world's population lives in the towns and cities, with the level of urbanization projected to reach almost 70% by 2050. Much of the growth in urban populations will take place in Asia and Africa, especially in China, India, and Nigeria, where the fertility rates remain high. Today is also commemorated as World Lemur Day on October 31st, which is celebrated on the last Friday of October. This year, it is scheduled to follow on October 31st. The objective of this day is to raise awareness about the need to preserve this endangered species and also to celebrate its unique attributes. The day was first observed in 2014 when it was founded by the Jonah Ratism Basfe in Antananarivo, Madagascar. Since then, zoos and animal rights organizations across the globe have been celebrating this particular event. World Lemur Day is celebrated in tandem with the World Lemur Festival. Lemurs are primates that belong to the suborder Strepsirrhini. They evolved on the island of Madagascar for approximately 40 million years. They are thought to have evolved during a period known as Ecocene. If not earlier, DNA-based evidence suggests that they landed upon Madagascar between 40 to 52 million years ago. However, the migrations of humans onto the island about 2000 years ago led to lemurs being restricted to around 10% of the land. Lemurs were given their name around 1758 by Carl Linnaeus, the founder of modern binomial nomenclature. Their name is derived from the Latin lemurs, meaning species, specters, or ghosts. In Malagasy culture, lemurs are believed to have souls capable of getting revenge if wrong. The belief has caused a sense of taboo or fady surrounding the mammals in popular culture. So, Western culture, especially lemurs, have been featured as characters in children's films like Dinosaurs and Madagascar. Today, several species of lemurs are critically endangered. They are threatened by a myriad of environmental issues, anti-climate change, and exotic pet trade. They are running out of resources for survival, largely due to habitat destruction and degradation. This day was first observed in 2014 when it was founded by Jonah Radzimbazfi in Madagascar. Since then, zoos and animal rights across the globe have been celebrating this particular event. World Lemur Day is celebrated in tandem with the World Lemur Festival, a festival in Madagascar that aims to raise awareness about the plight of lemur species. Today is also commemorated as World Savings Day on October 31st, which is also known as World Thrift Day. The day highlights the necessity of saving for future. There are many reasons why would need to save, including for retirement, education, property purchase, marriages, etc. It is also good to be prepared for unseen circumstances and save. Even if you have no plans for the money yet in certain situations, saving has been a lifesaver as it helps to overcome sudden unfortunate situations. It's good to get into the habit of saving early on in life, and although going to college is seen as a huge debt building exercise, it doesn't have to be that way. A great way to start saving early is by availing scholarships in your early student life. So World Savings Day started on October 30, 1924 at the end of the first International Thrift Congress in Milan. The day was officially launched by Filippino Ravizza, an Italian professor who called it International Savings Day. The idea was quickly supported by various organizations who also saw the importance of saving. Though there are accounts of individual countries that observe a day for saving, World Savings Day made the idea more universal, bringing more popular on board, and also some countries needed encouragement due to effects of war. However, after Second World War, thrifting became more popular than ever. The importance of saving prompted banks to open their doors to more people, especially in developing nations. Non-governmental organizations have also been pivotal in bringing the importance of savings to the fore. Each year, World Savings Day has different theme that encapsulate the spirit of saving. These themes encourage more people to engage in the habit of saving. Likewise, banks and other financial institutions have come up with several schemes that help people to save more and make meaningful investments. On this day, the government and institutions such as schools and media outlets raise awareness to encourage more people to save. World Savings Day is also a day that aims to influence children to save. Piggy banks have always been a good idea as it creates a sense of wealth when the children realize how much they save. And let's be honest, even adults love the idea of piggy banks. Today is also commemorated as Reformation Day, which is memorialized as October 31st every year. Reformation Day started in the 15th century with a German monk aggrieved by the activities of Catholic Church, especially sale of indulgences. As penance, nailed his arguments named the 95 Theses to the door of Wittenberg's Castle Church. Many opposed the movements of the church, but Martin Luther brought it to light and sought reformation within the church. His thesis gave grounds for people to question the church. It was a time of large religious and social change. Luther preached reformation, but this thesis was warped for political, social, and economic reasons by varying emerging leaders of the movement. This brought about a fractionalization in Catholic Church and the emergence of the Protestant Reformation under the Protestant Church. So Reformation Day is recognized by a number of communities around the world, especially the Protestants, which is an official holiday in German states and seeks to celebrate the significant religious reforms brought on by the 95 Theses. Reformation Day stands by truth and the Bible as a source as religious authority, being a Christian celebration. Today is also commemorated as Nevada Day in US, celebrated on last Friday in October every year. This year it takes place on October 31st. It is a day to commemorate Nevada's statehood as the 36th state to join the Union and only the second state to do so during the Civil War. This day is dedicated to celebrating resilience of Nevadans throughout their years of hardship and paying respect to the people responsible for their admission to the United States. While Nevada is known as the gambling and entertainment capital of the United States, not many people know about its rich history. Beneath the facade of loud music, lights, and money, the story of how Nevada got to where it is now worth exploring. Today is also commemorated as National Unity Divas or National Unity Day, Rashtriya Ekta Divas, on October 31st, which is celebrated annually on October 31st to pay tribute to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, an Indian freedom fighter and independent India's first deputy prime minister and home minister. He was instrumental in making a united India from the 565 semi-autonomous princely states and British era colonial provinces. For his efforts towards a united India, Sardar Patel's birth anniversary is now celebrated as Unity Day in the country. People mark the day with activities such as runs for unity. On this day, locals are encouraged to remember the inherent strength and resilience of nature. The Iron Man of India, also known as the Loh Purush Vallabhbhai Jawaharbhai Patel, was born on October 31st, 1875. He is also popularly known as Sardar Patel and was one of the most known Indian politicians after independence. When the British withdrew from the deeply divided country under Jawaharlal Nehru's term as Prime Minister, Sardar Patel served as the first Deputy Prime Minister of India. Sardar Patel is most popularly known as the founding father of the Republic of India. This is because he played a significant role in integrating the independent provinces into a unified India just after the partition of India and Pakistan. He also acted as Home Minister during the political integration of India and the Indo-Pakistan War of 1947. In 2014, Rashtriya Ekta Divas or National Unity Day was introduced by the Government of India. The official statement for Rashtriya Ekta Divas was provided by the Home Ministry of the country. It cites that the National Unity Day will provide an opportunity to reaffirm the inherent strength and resilience of our nation to withstand the actual and potential threats to the unity, integrity, and security of our country. For his efforts towards a united India, Sardar Patel's birth anniversary is now celebrated as a National Unity Day. This is also known as the Rashtriya Ekta Divas. To celebrate the day, the unifier of India was honored with the Statue of Unity, which is actually the world's tallest statue. Dedicated to the Sardar Patel, the statue is appropriately 597 feet in height. Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, inaugurated the event on October 31st, 2018. On October 31st, 2019, an event called the Run for Unity was also held to spread awareness about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's contribution to Indian history. To commemorate his 144th birth anniversary, thousands of people participated in the run, which began from the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in Delhi. The almost 1 mile run took place at the India Gate C hexagon, Shah Jahan Road. Today, Rashtriya Ekta Divas is remembered as the unsung efforts of Iron Man, who shaped the country and the idea of Hindu and Muslims residing in the same country together. Since 2019, thousands of people ran for the unity in honor of Sardar Patel and his vision for unified India. If you can't make it to run in the city, gather friends and family, go for a jog near your street, even if you are an Indian living overseas. It's a perfect time to not only get some exercise, but also to gather people of all different religions and cultures, cultural beliefs, and run in unity. The essence of run is the message. So India has a rich and interesting history, which is important to have at least some knowledge about. India's independence in 1947 was a pivotal point in the world's history. As a British officially left, not only this, when the British withdrew, India was partitioned into independent countries, India and Pakistan. This time was both a proud and also challenging times for India, which caused deep divides between people and families. Make sure to brush up on some important historical facts. If you are Indian, invite friends or family over and celebrate all there is to love about India. If you are not Indian, you have Indian friends, perhaps today is a great time to wish them well on this day and spread a message about the meaning of unity and patriotism. Today is also commemorated as National Magic Day in US. Moreover, Halloween National Magic Day takes the spotlight this October 31st. Magic Day actually takes place during the National Magic Week, which is an entire week dedicated to celebrating art of illusion and the craft of magicians everywhere. And while Harry Houdini may be the most famous illusionist out there, there is plenty to celebrate this week and day. Today is also commemorated as National Knock Knock Joke Day in US on October 31st every year and is celebrated one of the most popular joke cycles, perfectly suitable for our age groups. Knock knock jokes are told in many English speaking countries. Knock knock is a call and response joke that involves an interesting play with words. Someone begins the joke by saying knock knock, followed by who's there. After they mention a name, the person can reply by asking for a surname and end the joke with a pun that involves an interplay between the words. The earliest variation of the knock knock joke can be traced back to the 1900s, according to the Merlin Maccoby. The joke began around 1900 and it started with the question, do you know Arthur? To which one would naturally ask, Arthur, who the person telling the joke would then reply, Arthur O'Meara. In 1929, a book called The Games of Children, Their Origin and History, featured the earliest written form of knock knock joke. After the initial knock knock, who's there? The joke teller would reply, Buff. The audience would typically ask, what says Buff? And the final punchline would go, Buff says Buff to all his men, and I say Buff to you again. It was popular among children back then, and they enjoyed it very much. So the modern form of joke was developed in 1930s. It was introduced into popular culture with the relatable pun and that were used today. It goes knock knock. Who's there? Rufus Rufus. Who? Rufus? The most important part of your house. Since humans have been knocking on doors for ages, knock knock jokes may have a longer history. Nowadays, the joke has become a staple for humor across the world. Today is also commemorated as National Doorbell Day in US on October 31st, annually to recognize the buzzer bell, chimer, melody tunes, and so on, beckoning us whenever there is a great guest at the door. When kids come to trick or treat us on Halloween, it's a humble doorbell that announces their arrival. Get ready to welcome Halloween with doorbells. Today is also commemorated as National Caramel Apple Day in US. As if October 31st wasn't awesome. Enough costumes, gowns, candy, and spooky things galore. It's also National Caramel Apple Day. Caramel apples and Halloween go together like ghosts, goblins, tricks, and treats. The tradition stretches back decades to a day. A creative craft confectioner invented the wonderfully simple recipe while trying to figure out what to do with a bunch of excess Halloween caramels. We say bravo, sir. Excellent ideas, and then we take a big, sweet, crunchy bite. Today is also commemorated as National Breadstick Day in US. All the humble breadstick on National Breadstick Day, an annual event on the last Friday in October. This year's celebration occurs on 31st. Breadsticks are slender sticks of baked, crispy, dry goodness invented in Italy. Aside from their crunch, the best thing about breadsticks is that they can be eaten as an appetizer, or you can dress them up with all manner of culinary embellishments. Today is also commemorated as Girl Scout Founders Day in US on October 31st every year. This day commemorates the heroics of Juliet Gordon Low, who founded the Girl Scouts. He was born on October 31st, 1860, which is why this date was chosen for the holiday. So, taking charge of 18 girls, she led them as a troop on outdoor and other educational activities. Girl Scout Founders Day goes on to celebrate the wonderful feast of bringing confidence to millions of girls in achieving their biggest dreams. So, Juliet Gordon Low became the founder of Girl Scouts in the US on March 12, 1912. It is believed that she did so with the help of Sir Robert Baden-Powell, the founder of the Scouting movement. She gathered 18 girls in Savannah, Georgia, her hometown, and decided to impart the lessons to them and then she had learned abroad. It involved several programs such as outdoor activities, adventures, special projects, and youth education. The movement was initially known as the Girl Guide before changing to the Girl Scout in 1915. Juliet Gordon Low started the movement to train girls to be confident in their pursuits in life. Some of the activities included drilling and camping, which were military. She also decided to teach the girls how to tie knots, read a map, cook, apply first aid, and take care of livestock. So she remained active in the movement until her death in 1927 at the age of 66. The Girl Scout Founders Day falls on her birthday. At the beginning of the movement, she faced stiff opposition from people who did not think girls should participate in such activities. Most notable was James C. West, the chief executive of Boy Scouts of America, who claimed that the Girl Guides activities were inappropriate for them, being girls. But she preserved, gaining more insight from the Girls' Guide in England. Today is also commemorated as Books for Treats Day in US on October 31st every year and encourages the giving of books to children. On a day when we give candles as treats, Book for Treats Day favors giving books. This day is supported mostly by the non-profit organization Books for Treats. The organization encourages adults to give books to children who give tricks or treating on Halloween Day. When you give books to children on the Halloween, you inspire them to read more while also helping them to reduce the intake of candies. By doing so, you are helping to feed their minds. So, Book for Treats Day was born from the belief that books are more valuable treat that candy on Halloween. Books are more beneficial to children than candies because they nourish the mind and equip the children to understand life better. This day was inspired by Rebecca Morgan, the founder of Books for Treats, a non-profit movement. The idea was to step outside the tradition of giving candies on Halloween. So Rebecca Morgan began giving books as treats in 1995 from her home in Willow Glen. She liked the idea of books because it was a treat that lasted longer than candies or toys. Being a best-selling author herself, she knew the value of books, especially in a child's life. So when she saw a box of gently read books at a local library, she didn't hesitate to purchase them. She sorted the books according to the grades to make them age appropriate for children who came trick or treating. So many people welcomed her idea, which prompted her to launch Books for Treats in 2001. According to her, it was important to feed kids' minds and not their cavities. The movement continued to grow across the US while also gaining some popularity in Canada. In 2009, the movement gained the huge momentum when she convinced Greg Evans, the UN comic creator, to promote books for treats and encourage more people to give books to little children. Most of the books given are gently read and many are cheap to get, especially from the thrift shops. So Morgan also noticed how excited kids were about books and how they would even offer to swap books after reading them. It inspired her to push the movement even further. Today is also commemorated as Bandhana Day, which is observed on the last Friday in October, falling on October 31st this year to celebrate people suffering from cancer by raising awareness and support for all those who wear the accessory. Why bandhanas? Chemotherapy and powerful anti-cancer drugs cause serious hair loss and many patients turn to alternative means of covering their heads, commonly known including bandhanas. So people believe the word bandhana comes from the Hindi word badnati or badnati, which means it's to tie. So its history begins in the South Asia and Middle East in the late 17th century, with an increase in trade with the Far East by the 18th century. The bandana came to the West and took off. The Dutch East Company imported Kashmiri bandanas, which were a huge hit with the women. More demand raised the prices until only the upper classes could afford. Soon England and Scotland got into the business, producing their own shawl-like bandanas. When they reached Portugal, they were renamed bandano before finally coming to be known as bandana. The patterns also changed. Over the years, with each culture and country it was introduced into. As for America, they became enamored with the bandana because of George Washington's wife, Martha. At an accidental meeting with revolutionary printmaker John Hewson, Martha showed drawings of militia flags and cannons, hoping he could print them. The next year, the Washingtons received an unexpected parcel from Hewson. It was a picture of General Washington on horseback, printed on fabric. Thus, the bandana came to American colonies. Since then, the bandana has been used for political causes and later a multitude of social and personal causes, including as a visual symbol for many cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy. Hair adverse events, as medical professionals call it, are a very common side effect of cancer treatments and also affect the quality of life. Patients, young and old, have shown psychological and psychosocial reactions when faced with hair loss. Surveys on cancer patients ranked hair loss as the most traumatic event of chemotherapy, and about 8% of the patients said they would avoid chemo completely if they could on account of hair loss alone. Children also tend to suffer social isolation as a result of hair loss. Out of this reality, a light shines. Bandanas have come to their rescue, providing protection to the scalp and brightening their look and day just a little. The history and origin of Bandana Day are still unclear, although it is thought to be brainchild of an Australian welfare fundraising organization called Canteen. They organize a yearly Bandana Day to raise awareness and encourage sport for young people living with cancer. Today is also commemorated as Halloween on October 31st, which is undoubtedly the creepiest, most ghostly holiday of them all. Children dress up as a Batman, the Joker, Wonder Woman, or some other favorite character, go to the parties or walk through their neighborhoods with jack-o'-lanterns full of sweets as they go trick or treating. Spooky decorations fill windows and porches, and screams can be heard in living rooms up and down the country as we collectively binge our favorite horror movies. Though Halloween is expected to look somewhat different this year, Sea Candies wanted to let everyone know that you can still celebrate and have fun safely. There are many ways to celebrate Halloween that don't involve going door to door, trick or treating in search of Halloween sweets. Today is also commemorated as Samhain on October 31st, which begins at a nightfall on October 31st and continues until sunset on November 1st every year. It is considered one of the most important festivals of the ancient Celtic region. Summer is considered to be the time when gods become visible to the humankind, and they tend to play tricks on their worshippers. This day used to be a day of fear and danger. Sacrifices were one of the vital rites of the festival, as Celts believed they were essential to prevail over the perils before them that the deities could have laid down. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining today's commemorations and celebrations. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining in. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. Before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow. The same time with the same joining with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.